When I first heard that my sister, Sarah, was getting married, I was thrilled. She had always been my best friend growing up. We shared secrets, dreams, and plans for the future. So when she didn't tell me anything about her wedding, I assumed it was still far away. But then, one morning, I saw a photo of her in a bridal gown, posted by someone else. That's how I found out she was already married, and I hadn't even been invited. At first, I thought it had to be a misunderstanding. Maybe the ceremony was small. Maybe she planned to surprise me. But when I called her, she didn't answer. My messages went unread. Days passed, and it became clear she had deliberately left me out. The betrayal cut deeper than anything I'd ever felt. We were sisters, yet she'd chosen to erase me from one of the biggest days of her life. I went to my parents to ask what was going on. My mom avoided my eyes, and my dad sighed before saying, "It was her choice." She said it was better this way. Better this way. I couldn't understand what that meant. Sarah had been distant lately, ever since she started dating Ryan, her now husband. I'd always felt uneasy around him. His charm seemed too polished, his temper too quick. But I never thought he would come between us. Days turned into weeks, and I tried to move on. I deleted her pictures, ignored the gossip, and focused on my own life. But then, one afternoon, my phone buzzed. A coworker sent me a link with the caption, "Isn't this your sister?" My hands trembled as I clicked it. The headline read, "Asterisk wedding photos gone wrong, groom caught pulling bride's hair." Asterisk. My stomach dropped as I opened the pictures. There was Sarah, in her white dress, standing at the reception. And right beside her, Ryan was gripping her hair tightly, his face twisted in anger. The crowd around them looked frozen. In the next picture, Sarah's smile was gone. She looked terrified. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. My heart broke, not just for the humiliation she must have felt, but because it confirmed my worst fears about Ryan. I had warned her once, gently, that he didn't seem right for her. She'd told me I was jealous. Maybe that's why she didn't want me there, to avoid hearing the truth. The photos went viral overnight. Social media was flooded with comments. Some people mocked them, others defended Sarah, saying maybe it was a misunderstanding. But I knew my sister's eyes. They showed pure fear, not confusion. I tried calling her again, but her phone was still off. The next day, I drove to her apartment. When she opened the door, her face was pale, her makeup smudged. "Why are you here?" she asked quietly. I wanted to be angry, to demand answers, but seeing her like that melted my rage. "Because you're my sister," I said softly. "And I'm worried." Tears filled her eyes, and for a long moment she said nothing. Then she stepped aside, letting me in. The place was a mess. Boxes, clothes, half-packed bags. "I'm leaving him," she whispered. "You were right. I should have listened." She broke down, telling me how controlling Ryan had been from the start. How he'd isolated her, even from me. He'd made her believe I hated her, that I was trying to ruin their relationship. Hearing that shattered me. All the anger I'd held toward her turned into guilt. I held her while she cried, wishing I had tried harder to reach her before it got this bad. "You're safe now," I told her. "We'll get you through this." She nodded, trembling but determined. We went to my parents' house that night. They were shocked to see her, bruised and broken. My father, who had always been calm, clenched his fists when Sarah told him what Ryan had done. "He's never coming near you again," he said firmly. For once, the whole family stood together. In the weeks that followed, Sarah filed for divorce. Ryan tried to contact her, apologizing, blaming stress and a bad moment, but she ignored him. The photos had exposed his true nature to everyone, and even his friends turned away from him. The man who once seemed perfect was now the face of public shame. Sarah began therapy and slowly started rebuilding her confidence. The spark in her eyes returned bit by bit. We spent long evenings talking, laughing like we used to. She told me she regretted everything: the silence, the distance, the wedding I wasn't allowed to attend. I told her that all that mattered now was that she was free and healing. Months later, when she was ready, she threw a small dinner for close family. She looked peaceful for the first time in a long while. At the table, she took my hand and said, "Next time something big happens in my life, You'll be the first to know." I smiled, squeezing her fingers. That's all I ever wanted. And as we sat there, surrounded by laughter and warmth, I realized something. Forgiveness doesn't erase the pain, but it opens the door to start again. Sarah had lost a marriage, but she'd found her strength. And I'd gotten my sister back.